When someone misses you deeply, one of the first signs is their consistent effort to reach out, often disguised as casual or trivial interactions. It might seem like they're texting about something minor, like asking for the name of that restaurant you once mentioned, or they might call to ask a question they could easily Google. But when you take a step back, you'll notice a pattern. These excuses are not about the question they're asking, they're about the connection they're seeking. When someone misses you, even the most mundane moments become an opportunity for them to feel closer to you. They'll text you about something random they saw that reminded them of you, like a song, a movie, or even a funny meme. And in these moments, what they're really saying is, "You're on my mind." Their actions aren't always grand gestures. Sometimes it's the consistent, quiet presence that speaks the loudest. This behavior often reflects a deeper emotional need. You see, when people care deeply, they crave the comfort of your presence, even if it's just through a short message or a quick call. It's their way of bridging the gap that your absence has left in their life. And while it might feel subtle or even confusing at times, it's important to recognize the sincerity behind these small gestures. Each one carries an unspoken message. I miss you, and I'm not ready to let go. If you notice this pattern, take a moment to reflect on what it might mean. It's not always about the words being said, it's about the intention behind them. Sometimes these little actions are the way someone tries to keep the door open, hoping you'll see that they still care, that they still want to be part of your life. In those quiet moments, they're not just reaching out, they're reaching for a connection they deeply value. And that's the beauty of recognizing when someone misses you. It's not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's in the softest gestures that the deepest feelings are revealed. Another undeniable sign that someone misses you deeply is the way they relive the past. When someone can't stop thinking about you, their mind often drifts to the moments you shared together. They'll bring up memories seemingly out of the blue, reminiscing about that one trip you took, the jokes you laughed at, or even the small habits you had. It's as if they're trying to recreate the connection they feel they've lost, holding on to the moments that made them happiest. This tendency to revisit the past isn't accidental. It's their way of keeping you close, even when you're apart. People often hold on to memories as a way to feel a sense of continuity with the relationship or bond they shared. It's not just about nostalgia, it's about longing. They might say something like, "Remember when we stayed up all night talking?" Or, "I was just thinking about that time These statements are laced with an unspoken message. I miss what we had, and I wish I could experience it again with you. You'll notice this, especially when they emphasize the good times, the laughter, and the shared dreams. It's their way of highlighting what was meaningful, almost as if they're hoping you'll feel the same pull toward those memories. And often they'll express these sentiments with a sense of vulnerability, even if it's wrapped in casual conversation. It's as if they're offering you a glimpse into how much those moments and you meant to them. This behavior often comes with subtle hints of regret or longing. They might mention something they wish they had done differently or bring up a what-if scenario, signaling that they've spent time reflecting on the relationship. Not just thinking about the past for its own sake. They're using it to communicate their desire to reconnect, even if they don't say it directly. When you encounter this, it's a reminder of how deeply humans cherish connection. It's not easy to let go of moments that felt real, of someone who brought joy into your life. And when someone revisits those memories with you, it's their way of saying you mattered. When someone misses you deeply, one of the clearest signs is their effort to stay connected, even in the smallest ways. They might find reasons to reach out, whether through casual texts, comments on your social media posts, or even a simple "how are you" that comes seemingly out of nowhere. These attempts aren't random, they're deliberate actions to maintain a connection, no matter how subtle they may seem. Think about it. When someone genuinely misses you, their mind often searches for ways to feel close to you again. They may not always have a big reason to start a conversation, but that doesn't stop them from initiating contact. It could be a message about something trivial, like asking if you've seen a new movie, or a picture they send that reminds them of you. These are their ways of saying, you're still on my mind. What's significant about this behavior is the persistence. Even if you're not responding with the same energy, they won't easily give up. Maybe they start liking old pictures of yours, leaving comments that feel a little more personal than usual, or finding shared memories to bring up. These gestures are their way of bridging the emotional gap they feel. It's not just about what they say or do, it's about the underlying intention behind. They are trying to keep the door open, hoping that you notice their efforts and perhaps reciprocate. Sometimes their approach may be subtle, almost as if they're testing the waters to see if you're still open to communication. Other times it might be more obvious with messages that clearly express their desire to reconnect. They may even come up with excuses to see you, like suggesting a meetup to return something they borrowed, or asking for advice on a topic they know you're knowledgeable about. These are more than just casual gestures. They're an attempt to reignite a sense of closeness and belonging. What's truly telling is the consistency of these efforts. Someone who misses you deeply doesn't let a day or two go by without trying to find some way to reach out. Their actions are a reflection of how much they value your presence, even from a distance. And in those moments, they're silently expressing that they're not ready to let go of what they shared with you. When someone deeply misses you, they often show it through their interest in what's happening in your life. This goes beyond casual curiosity. It's a genuine desire to stay connected to your world, even if they're no longer actively part of it. They might ask mutual friends how you're doing, check your social media for updates, or subtly inquire about your latest achievements, struggles, or daily routines. It's as if they're trying to piece together a picture of your life to fill the void they feel. Think about it. When someone values your presence, they don't just miss you in silence. They seek ways to remain in the loop. Maybe they'll bring up shared memories or ask about things they know you care deeply about. For example, if they know you're working on a big project, they might ask someone how it's going, or even send you a message to check in on it directly. These small actions are their way of keeping a connection alive, of staying tethered to what's important to you because you're still important to them. It's not uncommon for this kind of behavior to be subtle at first. They might react to your posts with emojis or leave supportive comments that show they're paying attention. Over time, their actions might become more deliberate, like reaching out to you directly to discuss something they've noticed about your life. These are their ways of saying, I see you, I still care, and I want to understand what's going on in your world. This interest isn't limited to surface-level updates. It often reflects a deeper longing to re-establish emotional intimacy. They're not just interested in where you've been or what you're doing. They're interested in how you feel, how you're navigating life, and whether you still think about them too. Their questions and comments often have an underlying message. I miss being part of your story. At its core, this behavior is a reflection of their realization that they valued not just your presence, but also the depth of your connection. By staying interested in your life, they're holding on to the hope that they might find a way back into it. It's a quiet but powerful acknowledgement of what you meant to them. When someone misses you deeply, it often shows in the way they cling to memories of your time together. These moments become a safe harbor for their emotions, a place they retreat to when they long for your presence. You might notice this when they bring up stories from the past, revisiting moments only the two of you would understand. It's their way of keeping the connection alive, even when you're apart. I shook my head. You can relax, be free when you're part of the collective again. Think about it. Shared memories hold a special kind of power. They're not just fragments of the past. They're emotional markers that remind us of what we once had. When someone misses you, they might reminisce about small, seemingly insignificant details that meant the world to them. Maybe they'll mention the way you laughed at something silly or recall a specific day when you both felt completely in sync. These memories aren't just nostalgic, They're an effort to relive the comfort and joy they associate with you. This isn't always verbal. Sometimes their actions reveal their attachment to those memories. They might hold on to items that remind them of you, a gift you gave them, a picture, or even a song that takes them back to a moment you shared. These things become symbols of what they miss, and they hold on to them like treasures, drawing comfort from the connection they represent. You might also notice that they try to recreate those memories in subtle ways. Perhaps they visit places you used to go together or pick up habits they associate with you, like watching a show you introduced them to. It's as though they're trying to bridge the distance by immersing themselves in the past you shared, hoping to feel closer to you again. This clinging to memories isn't just about longing, it's about preserving the bond. They replay these moments in their mind because they don't want to let go of the feelings that came with them. In their heart, they're holding on to the hope that those memories aren't just relics of the past, but a foundation for something that could be rebuilt. By cherishing those memories, they're sending a silent message. You mattered. What we had mattered. It's a reflection of how deeply they valued your presence and how much they miss having that connection in their life. Even in the quiet moments of remembering, they're reaching out to you in the only way they know how. When someone misses you deeply, their behavior often shifts in ways that reveal how much your absence affects them. One of the most telling signs is when they start to notice and care about the little things in your life. It could be as simple as remembering details you once shared or expressing interest in things they might not have paid much attention to before. This shift often stems from their desire to feel connected to you, even from a distance. They want to show that they still care, that they still see you, and that you still matter. Think about this. When someone truly misses you, they become hyper aware of what's happening in your world. They'll ask about your well-being, check in on your progress, and remember milestones that matter to you. It's their way of staying present in your life, even if circumstances have created a physical or emotional distance. They want to be there for you in the ways they still can, hoping to maintain a thread of connection that keeps them close. This behavior often goes beyond simple curiosity. It's rooted in a deeper emotional longing to feel involved in your life. For instance, they might ask about a project you mentioned months ago or follow up on a challenge you shared with them. These actions show that they're paying attention, that your words didn't just pass by unnoticed. It's their subtle way of proving that they still value what you bring to their life. But there's more to this than just keeping tabs. When someone misses you, they often want to demonstrate that they've grown or changed in ways that might matter to you. Perhaps they've picked up an interest in something you were passionate about, or started adopting habits you encouraged. This isn't about mimicry, it's about aligning themselves with the values and interests that once brought you together. They want to show you that they've been listening, that you've left an imprint on their life, and that they still hold a part of you in their heart. And then there's a quiet support they might offer. Maybe they share resources or advice related to your interests, or they send you something that made them think of you, a book, a link, or a simple message that says, "This reminded me of you." These gestures, though small, carry a powerful message. I'm still here. I still care. I still think of you. When someone shows this kind of attention to the details of your life, it's because they're trying to close the gap created by your absence. It's their way of saying that even though you're apart, they still want to be part of your story. These actions aren't just about missing you, they're about valuing you, about wanting you to know that you're still important to them in ways words alone can't express. When someone misses you deeply, one clear sign is how they turn to nostalgia, reliving the memories you shared together. They may bring up specific moments, stories, or inside jokes that you both hold dear, often with a tone of longing and warmth. These aren't just casual mentions, they're deliberate attempts to reconnect with the emotions tied to those memories. It's their way of holding on to the past to feel closer to you in the present. Now, you might notice that they revisit places you used to go together or listen to songs that remind them of you. These actions aren't random. They're a subconscious pull toward moments that brought them joy, comfort, or a sense of belonging. Nostalgia becomes their way of keeping you near, even if it's just in their mind. It's a space where they can relive the closeness they miss and perhaps even hope to recreate it someday. Sometimes this longing manifests in how they talk to you. They might start conversations with, "Remember when?" Or, "I was just thinking about that time we..." These phrases aren't just about the memories themselves, but about the connection those memories symbolize. They're attempts to spark a dialogue, to relive a moment together, even if only briefly. This behavior also shows a deeper emotional need. They're seeking reassurance that those moments mattered to you too. When someone misses you, they hold on to the times when they felt seen, valued, and connected with you. By revisiting those memories, they're not just reflecting on the past. Nostalgia is powerful because it's tied to emotions that words alone can't capture. It's in the way they smile when recounting a story, or the way their voice softens when mentioning something you once did together. These subtle cues reveal how much they miss you, how deeply they yearn for the connection that those memories represent. It's their way of saying, those moments still mean something to me. You still mean something to me. When someone misses you deeply, their emotions often lead them to notice the smallest details about you. It's as if their mind is replaying moments with you on a loop, and in that replay, even the tiniest aspects stand out. Your favorite color, the way you laugh, or how you prefer your coffee. These details might seem insignificant to others, but to someone who misses you, they become treasures, reminders of your uniqueness. You'll notice this in the way they bring up these details in conversations, or how they find ways to show you that they've been paying attention. They might say something like, "I saw this and thought of you," or "I remember you said this was your favorite." These aren't just casual remarks, they're glimpses into how often you occupy their thoughts. Remembering these little things is their way of keeping you close, of holding on to the pieces of you that matter most. It's not just about remembering, it's about cherishing. They might go out of their way to mention something you said in passing weeks ago, or notice when you've changed something about yourself, like a new haircut or a shift in your tone. These observations aren't just a sign of attention, they're a sign of emotional investment. When someone truly misses you, they're tuned into you in a way that feels almost instinctive. This kind of attention to detail also reveals how much they value the essence of who you are. It's as if they're replaying moments with you in their mind over and over, grasping onto every little thing that made those moments special. They're not just missing your presence, they're missing the unique way you light up their world, the things about you that no one else can replicate. When you notice someone holding on to these small details, it's a clear sign of their longing and appreciation for who you are. It's their way of keeping the connection alive, even if only in their thoughts, and hoping that someday they'll have the chance to notice even more about you, up close and in person. When someone misses you deeply, there's often a shift in their communication. It becomes more intentional, more thoughtful, and more reflective of the emotions they're trying to express. One of the most profound signs of missing you is when they reach out at unexpected times, sometimes just to say a simple hello or to check in. It's not because they have a specific reason or direct need. They just want to make a connection, to feel close to you, even in small ways. These messages or calls can come at moments when you least expect them. Maybe it's late at night and they're thinking about you, or it's during a quiet moment of their day when they realize how much they've been missing you. When someone misses you deeply, they won't wait for a reason to talk to you. They'll find any opportunity to connect, even if it's just a short message or a passing thought. It's not just about random messages or calls, though. It's about the nature of those exchanges. You'll notice that they're not asking for something in return. The words aren't loaded with expectations or requests, but instead they are simple expressions of how much they appreciate you, how much they value the time and moments spent together. It's as if every word carries a piece of their heart. A small offering to remind you that you're still important to them, no matter the distance or time apart. And when these calls or messages come, there's often an underlying sense of vulnerability in them. They don't want to sound too desperate, but they can't help but reach out because they're yearning for the connection, the comfort, or even just the familiarity of your voice. They want to remind you that you still matter to them, that the space between you isn't as big as it might seem. These messages are a way of bridging the gap, creating a thread that keeps you connected no matter how far apart you may be. Sometimes the timing of these messages can speak volumes. It's often when they're feeling lonely or overwhelmed, and the thought of you brings them a sense of calm. They reach out, not out of obligation, but because in that moment, the idea of reconnecting with you feels like the only way to make sense of their emotions. They miss the comfort you provide, the way you've impacted their life, and the way you make them feel understood in a way that no one else can. Ultimately, these spontaneous messages are a subtle but undeniable sign that they're missing you more than they let on. It's a way of saying, I'm thinking of you, and I can't shake the feeling that I need to reach out, even if it's just to hear your voice or to remind you that I'm still here. These gestures, although small, are powerful in showing that someone's heart is still in the place where you once connected. And in that moment is not just about the message itself, it's about the emotions behind it and the yearning they have to reconnect with the part of themselves that feels closest to you. When someone misses you deeply, their actions often reveal more than words ever could. One key sign is that they start reminiscing about the past, the memories you shared, the good times, and the things that made your connection unique. When a person misses you, they'll often bring up moments you both enjoyed together, not just in casual conversation, but with a sense of longing, as though they're trying to relive those moments, even if just for a fleeting second. They'll talk about things you did, places you went, and the little things that made your relationship special. Because these memories hold emotional significance for them, it's almost as if they're not just reminiscing, they're trying to hold on to the parts of you that made them feel loved, understood, and truly seen. This often shows up in ways that feel nostalgic, almost wistful. Maybe they'll mention a song you both loved or a joke that always made you laugh. These small sentimental moments become anchors in their mind, things they can return to when they feel the distance between you. It's a way for them to bring you back into their life, even if only in thought. By talking about the past, they're not just acknowledging the good times, they're expressing how much they miss those moments with you, how much they miss being with you in those shared experiences. These memories act as a bridge, allowing them to feel close to you again, even if physically apart. Sometimes this nostalgia might come across in unexpected ways, like through social media posts or by sharing photos of places or events that remind them of you. It might seem random or even out of the blue, but these are all subtle ways of showing that they're thinking about you. When they share these memories, they're not just posting them for the sake of it. They're doing it because those moments with you meant something. They're allowing you a glimpse into their heart, showing you how much they care by reminding both themselves and you of the bond you once shared. What's powerful about this behavior is that it's often not directly communicated as a plea for your attention. It's not about them needing something from you. It's about them expressing how much they still value your presence, even if it's no longer in the same way as before. The memories they bring up aren't just about the good times, but about the feelings those times evoked. They're not just talking about events. They're talking about the emotional connection that was present in those moments. And through this, they show you that what they miss most isn't just the company or the fun you had together, but the emotional intimacy you share. Even in moments of silence or distance, this nostalgia speaks volumes. When someone misses you deeply, they're not necessarily expecting you to immediately respond or rekindle the connection. Instead, they're sending out a quiet message that says, I remember you. I remember what we had, and I can't let go of that. It's a tender reminder of the space you once held in their heart, a space that's still there, waiting to be filled with more memories, or perhaps hoping for the chance to reconnect. It's a chemistry that stuck with you like that. Think about your relationships. Some of them are fond, but picture it like that. In the end, when someone starts to revisit the past in conversations and actions, it's not just a sign that they miss you. It's a sign that what you shared with them had a lasting impact. And even if you've both moved on in some ways, that bond remains, echoing in the memories they hold dear. The way they speak about the past reflects the depth of their feelings for you and the strength of the connection that, for them, hasn't faded over time. So when you hear these nostalgic reflections, know that they're not just words. They're an emotional plea to remind you both of what was and perhaps what could be again.